Okay, this is me doing sketching tutorial number 2, which is sketching a tuning fork. All right, so look in the class website for the URL for this tutorial. So I'm just going to do it here. So this is a little tuning fork. It's broken up into activity 1 and activity 2. So I'm just going to drag this off to my secret monitor up here, and I have Fusion 360 going already, and I have the design workspace, which is important, and I have just an untitled project right here. So activity 1, you need to make a new sketch. So you click this little create sketch button. They're asking you to use the XY plane, which is the green red axes, the plane between the green and red axes. So you click that. We've got the green axis and the red axis, so we're on the right plane. Then we need to go to solid, create rectangle, center rectangle. Then select this center point and then drag up something that just kind of looks good using the grid snaps. And click right there. And you see it throws a bunch of constraints in here. In this corner, there's a perpendicular constraint. And this symbol here is a horizontal constraint. And this little equals sign is trying to show that this top line is equidistant to this bottom line, I think, and that these two vertical lines are, or is that parallel? What is that? Yeah, that's parallel. So two parallel lines on the sides and the parallel lines on the top. So we can escape out of that to finish the triangle. Now, because of the constraints, we can drag this up and it maintains those constraints. It'll make sure that the angle stays perpendicular and the top line is horizontal and the top and bottom lines are distant to each other, and the vertical lines are equidistant to each other. So that's kind of cool, you know. It's a cool thing about this tool. Now it's a little bit, well, constraining, but for a lot of kind of design you're going to do, that's fine. For AutoCAD is a lot more free tool, but anyway, you need to use lots of tools. All right, so the next thing we want to do is do this circle. Let's see, the two-point circle, and you can zoom with the scroll wheel middle button, just the scroll wheel. So I'm getting that's an endpoint snap there, and then the diameter, click to this other point and click there, and it adds it adds a constraint, it adds a tangent. So the circle's tangent to this line. I'm not sure why it doesn't add a constraint here at this corner. I suppose we could do that. We could add some kind of constraint, but I don't know how to do that, to be totally honest with you. I'm only just learning this tool myself. All right, let's see, that was activity 1. All right, so moving on to activity 2, you're going to draw some more lines. So go to create line. Okay, then I got this endpoint snap, and then just drag out what doesn't really matter, just approximately 45 degrees, like, there. And then go, let's see, drag Sometimes it won't let you zoom. It's odd. And I think to override that, you can click this zoom button down here. Then you can zoom. Then you can press the escape to get out of zoom. All right. So let's see. I'm not getting the vertical constraint. I don't know why. But I'll just click. It's making something something parallel. What's the parallel constraint? Yeah. Let's go out to here. Put in a perpendicular constraint on that corner. That looks good. You put in another perpendicular constraint, and now when you drag, oh, I threw in another line. Here, let me escape. I'm going to delete that. Threw in this another little line by accident. All right, I'm going to go back to create line. Endpoint. One more time. Create line. Click and hold the mouse button down and drag, and you'll get an arc. And I'm just going to go over right there. Then now I'm moving the mouse without dragging. You see how it's adding all of these various kinds of constraints. There's another video I posted on what those constraints mean. You might want to watch that. And we're done. So let's see. I'm not sure how you tell what's parallel to what. Like this is the parallel constraint. So there's a parallel constraint here and a parallel constraint there, but not sure how you tell. Maybe it's all three of these parallel. Not sure, but we'll figure that out eventually. Anyway, the next thing they ask you to do is drag this guy around, drag these points around. And only, it doesn't let you drag them just anywhere because that would violate certain constraints, right? You can only drag it such that the perpendicular constraint is obeyed and the parallel constraint is obeyed. So let's see, you want to make this symmetrical. I'll drag that guy up. Yeah, that's about it. You can drag this up and it keeps the arc tangent to those vertical lines. Pretty cool. Anyway, that's the whole tutorial really. I think, it'd be fun to add some more constraints, but I'm not really sure how to do that. So you might want to play with that if you've got the time. Anyway, that's the end of this tutorial. I'll click Finish Sketch. Of course, the next thing you would do, and I can't help but do it because it's kind of fun, is do this push-pull. So I'll pick these surfaces. All right, and I'll click this edge thing to get it to look like that, and then I can drag this up like that and press enter. And so let's see, if you hold, there's some hotkeys. If you hold down Shift and the middle mouse, you can orbit. Okay, it's Shift middle mouse, and then if you hold down just the middle mouse, you can pan just by pressing the middle mouse and dragging. It's hard to do that without scrolling at the same time, but you can do that, and then scroll wheel itself is zoom. All right, so middle mouse drag is pan, Shift middle mouse is orbit, and scroll wheel is zoom, although zoom doesn't work sometimes and you need to override it by pressing this button. Anyway, hope you got something out of that. Thanks.